This is Dr. Tom Roselle. After 38 years of practice and almost 1 million patient visits, the Roselle Center for Healing knows what works and knows how you can take control of your health and wellness. My team of doctors practice 21st century integrative medicine. Whether you suffer from chronic pain and fatigue, allergies, or headaches, we can help. Take charge of your health before it's too late. Make an appointment today. Call 703-698-7117 or visit online at rosellecare.com.
Dr. Tom Roselle Live, right now, on 105.9 FM and AM 630 WMAL.
Welcome to Dr. Tom Roselle Live. This is Dr. Tom Roselle. Yes, I'm live in studio. I'd love to take your phone calls at 888-630-9625. That's 888-630-9625. Perhaps you've had a problem, you've tried, you've applied, you've done everything you can think of. Well, here's an opportunity. Call me, we'll talk about it, and we'll see what we can do without, the normal drugs and potential cutting and that kind of stuff. 888-630-9625. Christmas is almost here, and everybody's rushing around and trying to, catch up with what they should have done months ago. Every year you say, I'm going to get this done early, and you never do, and you're right where you're at, same place, same time, last year, all over again. And you're finding out that you don't feel good, you don't have the energy, you want to go to sleep, but in addition to that, your feet hurt. And they're throbbing, and they're aching. They get a little numb. Well, we're going to talk about that today, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about why that occurs. And if we have a few minutes, we're going to talk about something called Autism Spectrum Disorder, ASD. It's characterized by impaired communication and social impairment. You don't engage really well. There's a lot of people I know that don't have that syndrome but don't do that very well either. But it's predominantly a male problem and affects about 1 in 65 people. That's right. So if you're socially not with it, it may be something other than just, you don't like to talk to people. Could be something else. But we're going to talk about what that is, why it is, and a little known food that has a lot of chemistry in it that may make a difference in that situation. But in the meantime, call me 888-630-9625. As you can imagine, our office, like many other offices and businesses, are at the year end, and we're going crazy trying to put together everything that has happened with a projection of what we're going to do in the future. And hopefully, as the year comes on, we're going to have some very, very special things coming up on the blog for you. We're known for our education. We get out there and we do different events. We do our Ageless Health seminar every October, generally in October, and that is designed for you. We have our in-house continuing education programs, and we want you to be aware that they are there for one purpose only, to educate you so you can help yourself. So I'd like you to go to rosellecare.com, check it out, see what the schedule is. They're already listed, and pick the ones that have great interest in your life and attend and find out what you can do to make a difference and change these things. Many years ago, 1998, a foundation was created. It was called Caring for Others, and I am proud to be part of that organization. And 2 years ago, a year ago actually, we started something called the Children's Jubilee, and it was designed to do something very special. It was designed to help those who are desperately in need this time of the year, to let them know that people cared about them. And what we did as a foundation, Caring for Others, took on three shelters. And these people are homeless through no fault of their own. Dads lost their jobs, their debt structure was up over the head, but one also very, very special, and that was one that protects mothers and children from domestic violence and domestic abuse, which is one that goes directly to my heart. Hundreds of children and their mothers are forced to flee from their homes every year and every month, and particularly this time of the year, it's sad. It's they're there by themselves. So what we did last year is we created an amazing event, and we invited all these people, these mothers, these children, to the Fairview Park Marriott Hotel. And what we did is we put together a blockbuster event that featured Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus, and we had gifts that were donated. We had a Christmas train, and we had WHUT-TV, which will be there again this year, and all these wonderful inputs from so many different people that just came out of the... We didn't even ask. They were just there. And these children, these mothers, will celebrate Christmas through Caring for Others and know that there are people there that care for them, that really want to help them. And what we would like to do is we'd like to have you help us do that. If you go to caringforothers.ltd.org, you'll find on their homepage it's laid out and talks about this whole piece about domestic violence. They'll talk about these foundations. They'll talk about what we're doing for these folks. Next Saturday night, the 20th, is the date, and we need your help. We need your donations. If you go to Caring for Others, and you'll find that it has a very, very special add-on. And what that add-on simply is this. If you show your support by donating to Caring for Others and to help this very magical and generous charity event, the board of directors have gone out of their way. And by the way, there's a video clip there. It's about a minute long that tells you about what's really going to happen. Check it out. And if you donate to them, you'll find that there's a certain level of donation that the Roselle Center for Healing will give you in exchange. Our gift to you, a complete examination at absolutely no charge. And your donation to Caring for Others is tax deductible because it's a 501c3. It is totally, and we'll send you a receipt for it. You take it right off your taxes. What better time? And if you feel like digging deeper and helping us help these people, please do. Caring for Others Limited, Caring for Others LTD.org. Go there now, actually after the program or in between the breaks, and make a donation. And if it's big enough, we will help you and try to help you get your life squared away. This is an amazing event. It's our second annual Holiday Children's Jubilee. Please, 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 please help us. We're going to talk about foot pain. We're going to talk about all kinds of things today. The number here is 888-630-9625. I'm going to change the routine a little bit, and I'm going to go to the phone lines first. Richard, thank you for calling. How can I help you, sir?
Hi, yes. Love your show. Listen to you all the time.
Thank you.
I'm a firm believer of holistic medicine and nutrition and exercise. I'm calling for my mom. She's 75 years old. She was having a lot of headaches. She went to the doctor. They did some x-rays, found that she has severe arthritis in her neck.
Okay.
To the point where the arthritis is fusing her vertebrae together.
All right. She has stenosis.
So, other than surgery, she wanted to know what's a good alternative.
It depends on how advanced that fusion is taking place. What happens is the joint spaces begin to break down, the disc spaces get narrow, the body begins to form things like osteophytes, they're little spurs and these little garbage degenerative formations within the canal where the nerve comes out. So obviously it's going to cause pain, it's going to cause loss of function, you're going to see atrophy of the muscles, and that sort of thing. So you have to look at any condition, no matter what it is, from a prong of structural chemical stress. So there's injury patterns to the structural system, there's biochemical imbalances, and there's emotional upset and stress that we take care of like a good pet. We just, keep chewing on it for a long period of time. But what that does, it changes the biochemistry, it changes the structural patterns, the muscles start tightening up and so forth. So the history in any arthritic situation, whether it's a rheumatoid condition, whether it's a gouty arthritis, whether it's the kind of degenerative osteoarthritis that we're talking about, has to be looked at in this paradigm. The medications, that they're given from Celebrex to Bextrect and so forth are not the resolution. That just covers up the symptoms while the process continues to break down. So when you look at the spinal system, you look at vertebrae that are designed to move. There's the bones of the spine are designed to move in many different planes, so we can turn our head and bend and twist and so forth. And when those structural, chemical, emotional pieces are no longer balanced, first what we end up with is restriction of joint space function. Now, you may not have pain, you just may have loss of motion. Then you protect that because you don't want to have pain. So over a period of time, if that's superimposed on chemistry, meaning a dietary pattern, my mantra, sugar, sodas, coffee, teas, fast food, fried foods, alcohol, you know the drill, you've heard the program.
Yes.
Those are the kind of things that cause inflammation and further cause degradation and breakdown of the joint. So, having said that aside, I'm not even going to ask you what your mother's on because I'm sure she's on meds. But
No, she's not on anything.
Really? Well, God bless her.
Yeah, well, she's been trying to do some things on her own. I don't know how well it works, like the vinegar, what is it?
2 tablespoons of Bragg's organic vinegar in water first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. If you want to try something more mild than that, then you can try the juice of a full organic lemon in water, hot water, and sip that as a tea in the morning on an empty stomach. Both of those cause an alkalinity to occur within the body, and it stops the rapid degenerative changes. So that helps. So what you have to look at Are there other options? Yes, but you have to look at perhaps manipulative modes. You have to look at balancing the energy through acupuncture. You have to perhaps change the dietary patterns. There are nutrient bases that, if you can go on any website and you can see the glucosamines, the sulfates, and the chondroitins, and the MSMs, and so forth. They all have a place, but they have a place very specifically within that specific patient's metabolism. So no two people are the same. So first you check and fix digestive function and intestinal tract. Then you support the fight-flight system. What do I mean by that? The two little ductless glands called the adrenal glands on top of the kidneys, because they put out the body's own steroids to decrease inflammation and swelling. So you fix those. The combination of those things that we just talked about can be very successful. We do it all the time in our practice. You're up in Frederick. There's some good people up in that area. Just send me a note. Go to rosellecare.com, and I'll check our referral base and see if there's anybody close to you, and tell you what I would do if it was my mother.
All right, great. Thank you very much,
Richard. Thank you for calling. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas. 888-630-9625. Let's talk about anything that you'd like to talk about. Actually, let's talk about foot pain to start with. Let's find out what makes your feet go throb, as you're walking through the malls and the shopping centers and you're running from pillar to post and you're wondering, oh, my God, I can't wait to get these shoes off and, all of that. So, you're doing all that and your feet are burning, and sometimes there's sharp pain, sometimes it's just a dull chronic pain. Sometimes, this pain is throughout the entire foot. Sometimes it's in the toes. Sometimes it's just right at the upper portion of the foot. There's shooting pain. It just kind of lancinates. Sometimes there's, this total pins and needles numbness type of thing. Well, these symptoms usually develop very slowly over time, and you kind of ignore them. My feet are hurt. You rub them. You get in a hot tub, put a little sea salt in, and soak your feet. But the cause is significant, and the cause is many different things. But what are we talking about? The technical term is something called metatarsalgia, that the metatarsals of the foot, these are the bones, are causing pain. Algia. Just break the word down. Metatarsalgia. Pain in the foot. And there's pain other places as well. In the foot, there are small toe nerves that, that kind of go in between these bones, and they come off the big nerves that come from your low back, and as they course all the way down the legs. So when one of the small bones, are not holding together, the muscles have weakened, the foot has dropped. You've heard about dropped arch. Well, this is part of what we're talking about. The nerve's caught between these two bony areas, and it starts to become inflamed, and it causes this painful, throbbing type of condition, and also increases the inflammation that is very consistent with this. There was a study that was published by BMC Musculoskeletal Disorders, and it's now widely acknowledged that, there's very specific patterns that are associated with this craziness, with this metatarsal pain. And it can interfere, obviously, with all kinds of things. Your activity, it can limit your participation in things that you like to do. You normally like to play golf, or maybe some tennis, or, just walking around and getting some exercise. Well, metatarsalgia is often due to overuse, or excessive weight, or weakness of the muscles, or imbalances of the muscles, or weakening of the fascia. The fascia is like saran wrap that covers it and wraps around it. So we have to break it down, and we're going to do that for you. We're going to talk about all these little pieces of what causes metatarsalgia, and later on the program we're going to talk about this autism spectrum disorder. Big word, right? What does that mean? We said, guys, you're more affected because, when your wife say you're not paying attention to me, well, maybe this is part of it. I don't know, but we'll figure it out when we come back after some very important messages. Don't go away. You're listening to Dr. Tom Roselle Live.
Dr. Tom Roselle Live continues now on 105.9 FM and AM 630 WMAL.
Welcome back. This is Dr. Tom Roselle. You're listening to Dr. Tom Roselle Live. I indeed am in studio. 888-630-9625. That's 888-630-9625. Love to talk to you. That's why we're here, to answer your questions and to give you some information you hadn't thought about. And we're going to handle a couple things today. Talking about foot pain, metatarsalgia. We're going to get into that in a second. And we're also going to talk about ASD. You know, everybody uses letters anymore. What does that mean? That means autism spectrum disorder. And we're going to teach you women why your husbands are so messed up, because this is predominantly a male situation. And 1 out of 65 people are involved. Some of you girls as well, but, you know, nevertheless. But before we do that, let's go to the phones. Bernice, hey, welcome. Haven't heard from you in a while.
Okay, erase.
Bernice.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning. What's up?
I have a question about, a couple of questions. One's about brown sugar and white sugar. Which one's better, if any?
Neither. Sugar is sugar is sugar is sugar is sugar. So let me tell you the difference. All brown sugar is white sugar dragged through a little bit of molasses. And in most products, you're talking somewhere between 3.5% up to 10%, 5%, 6%. It depends on the manufacturing process. But other than that, it's refined white sugar that has some color to it. Molasses by itself, you know, has some significance. But if you're going to use, you know, to cut to the chase, if you're going to use any kind of sweetener to bake with over the holidays, you want to use things that are absolutely natural. Go get some raw honey, and it has all the mineralization with it. You can cook with that. Get raw sugar that hasn't been processed at all, and use that in combination. It's usually it's somewhat healthier for you. But sugar, 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 regardless whether it's carbohydrate being transported into sugar. But when you're using white sugar that has been milled and processed and everything's been taken out of it, it's nothing but, you know, open, vacant energy that is going to deplete your body. So, you know, from me, and remember what I've said, that 1 teaspoon of sugar decreases the white blood cell capacity to work by 12% for 8 hours.
Wow.
It's not okay. So it knocks out all your good guys, okay?
So is raw sugar brown or white?
Raw sugar is the natural state of sugar before it is processed.
So it would be kind of an off color?
It's kind of you're going to go in and you're going to see it'll say raw sugar on it. Another name for it is turbinado sugar. But you want to have it organic, obviously. And, you know, so just go to your health food store. It's all there. Just tell them that you want raw sugar, nothing else. You don't want it processed, and you want it organic, and it's there. It's easy to find.
Okay, and another question. Is alloxan in white bread or any bread, even brown bread, alloxan, they say it causes diabetes? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, we don't have a lot of time, but I'll simply say this because coming up to a break and I have some other calls. The short answer is yes, it'll potentiate. It makes it much easier because it increases the blood sugar. It stops the blood sugar from transporting much more easily than it should otherwise, so it sits in the bloodstream, and it's a receptor site problem. So we could spend, you know, quite a bit of time doing this. It's not just an inflammatory blockage. It actually messes up the transportation of blood sugar into the cells themselves. So, okay? Okay, thank Bernice, you. Take care of yourself. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, too, and all your listeners.
Thanks. Debbie, how can I help you? Hello, Debbie.
Are different kinds of magnesium. If that's true, what form is the best one to help alleviate high blood pressure?
Magnesium aspartate, Debbie. There's lots of different forms of magnesium. The end point is the carrier. Magnesium, and then you're going to see glycinate. Magnesium, and you're going to see carbonate. Magnesium, and you're going to see aspartate. Magnesium, you're going to see malate. They do different things in the body. But the magnesium aspartate form is the one that is most often used for blood pressure regulation, because what it does, it relaxes the arteries within the body, and it drops the pressure in that system. So if you're going to use it, you use the aspartate form.
Great,
okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome, Debbie. Thank you for calling. 888-630-9625. Yeah, it's one of those things. Magnesium is not magnesium is not magnesium. They're all good for you. Your body needs magnesium. It's the number one deficient mineral for all of us, and unless we get enough of it in our foods, and obviously that's where you should get things, but we burn it up. Why? Because it's used in so many different systems. It's used in heart regulation and adrenal function and brain transmission and neurological function, immune system, and so forth. So your body's grabbing the stuff, but because we don't eat well, our food's depleted, we're drawing off of our stores constantly. We're just in a constant state of deficiency. So then we can't sleep, and our blood pressures go up. It helps in blood sugar regulation and transportation. So we have to be aware of all these things, and you have to educate yourself. But magnesium aspartate, if it's a blood pressure problem, and by the way, there's only 2 side effects of magnesium that you need to really be aware of. One is that if you take too much of it, you're going to have to go to the bathroom. You remember what milk of magnesia was about? That's why it was used that way. The other thing is that if you get way too much, it causes you to be like super tired, and it can cause everything kind of not to work the way it's supposed to. But you're not going to get there. Very few of you, unless you're taking it, by the carloads, are going to have to worry about. But those are the two that we usually give people a heads up on. We're coming up to a break. Don't go away. When we come back, we're going to talk about foot pain and autism spectrum disorder. Don't go away.
Did you know that routine mammograms can increase radiation exposure to breast tissue 1,000 times over a chest X-ray? Now consider a simple, non-invasive, and totally safe medical procedure approved by the FDA since 1982 that can detect breast cancer 5 to 8 years before it can be visualized on a mammogram. Infrared thermographic imaging can accurately detect the initial signs of breast cancer as increased blood supply and metabolic rate, which is recorded as heat. Why expose yourself to radiation when accurate and safe medical detection is available? Call the Thermography Center of Fairfax to schedule a breast exam today at 703-948-7248. That's 703-943-7248. For more information, visit www.thermographyscan.net. That's thermographyscan.net for the Thermography Center of Fairfax.
The Roselle Center for Healing is a proud supporter of breast cancer awareness and reminds you to conduct a monthly breast self-examination and a thermographic breast scan as part of your annual wellness checkup.
Dr. Tom Roselle Live continues now on 105.9 FM and AM 630 WMAL.
Welcome back. This is Dr. Tom Roselle. You're listening to Dr. Tom Roselle Live. Yep, I'm in studio, 888-630-9625. Give me a call. Let's talk. Let's do whatever you want to do and try to figure out what's wrong. Are you tired of hurting? Tired of, the medications that you've been taking for how many years? Would you like to get off of them? Maybe we can point you in a little different direction and give you a possibility that you haven't thought about. That's why we're here. That's why we do the program. Coming up next Saturday, the 20th of this month, 5 days before Christmas, we are involved with a very amazing organization, Caring for Others, and the Roselle Center for Healing and Caring for Others are teaming up to produce the second annual Children's Jubilee. What's that all about? Well, it's an amazing event, really. It's one that we decided, last year that needed to be done. I'm on the board of directors, and it's about supporting people who have been put out of their house for a couple reasons. One, domestic violence. It's one of the most awful things that occurs in our society. Domestic violence is a tragedy. It affects hundreds of women and children, and particularly this time of the year, it's awful. These people are out there. They're scared. They're desperate. And they need help. They need your help. They need people to care about them. So Caring for Others, which is a 501c3 charity, your donations to this organization are completely, totally tax deductible. And in conjunction with Roselle Center for Healing, are going to sponsor this event. And it's going to be amazing. We're going to have over 100 children and their mothers. And WHUT-TV, PBS affiliate, will be there. We're going to have Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus. We're going to give these kids sleeping sacks and dolls and gift certificates. And we're going to provide an amazing dinner. There's going to be music. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. But we need your help. I'd like you to go to Caring for Others, LTD.org, Caring for Others, LTD.org, and make a very generous donation. And you'll find out what the donation levels are. And Roselle Center has given, as part of our contribution to this program, those of you who would like to find out if you can be helped by integrative and natural therapeutics, if you give a certain level of a donation, we will give to you, at absolutely no cost to you whatsoever, a complete consultation and examination. If you'd like to take advantage of that and help some people, make it totally tax deductible, where else can you do that? Go to caringforothersltd.org and make it happen. And trust me, you're going to make some children's lives amazing. There's a short vignette there. Click it. It'll show you what we did last year. I think you're going to be extremely, extremely impressed. Before we get into a little bit more on foot pain, let's go to Belina. How are you?
Galina.
Belina?
Yes, Galina, not Balina.
I'm sorry. Forgive me.
No, that is okay. I have two questions. One about my husband. Do you know why when that has happened mostly at night time, short breath? And we went to the doctor. She checked his lungs, and she said, and he coughs a little bit. And she said his lungs absolutely clean, and we don't know.
Are his ankles swollen?
No, I didn't.
Does he have any Does he have any swelling in the ankles at all?
No, I will ask him, but I don't think so.
Okay, so if he's coughing and he has the symptoms that you're associated with, it can be the beginning stages of congestive heart failure. And so if that's the case, what you have to look at is a lot of different things. You have to look at the medications that he's on. You have to look at, what his environment is, the kind of food he's taking. But the things very quickly, I mean, we could spend the rest of the program on congestive heart failure. But coenzyme Q10, CoQ10, but a very, very specific form. You need to go to a health food store. It won't hurt him to take 100 milligrams 3 times a day. B complex, a natural B complex, take that 3 times a day. 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C 3 times a day. Just doing that, and there's other things that need to be done as well, but just doing that, if that's what we're talking about, and it's not going to hurt him anyway, will make a difference. How long will you notice it take to see a difference? Maybe 3-4 weeks. You'll start seeing some changes. But those are the things that you can do on your own. But there's other things that need to be done. Acupuncture will help, but an evaluation of his total system needs to be looked at, and then the application subsequently. But the things that I told you about will help. Let me know. You can get a hold of me at rosellecare.com. Give me some more data, and I will try to point you in the right direction. Let's talk a little bit about foot pain, and then we're going to get back. There's more calls. We're here at 888-630-9625. Obviously, I'd love to talk to you. And offline, you can get a hold of me at rosellecare.com. That's ROSELLECARE.com. And send me a note. I'll answer you. I'll get to it. If you need to talk to somebody right away, you can call our office at 703-698-7117, 703-698-7117, and somebody will get back to you. So let's talk about that foot pain. Let's talk about that numbness in your feet and that sharp shooting pain and that dull throbbing pain and so forth. And it has to do with the position of the foot and how it's irritating the nerve roots. So there was a couple guys, researchers, just if you heard the name, they're Blake and Ferguson, and doesn't really mean anything to you, but it doesn't matter. Found that the joint pain and the capsules, little buffers that are in between the bones of the foot, were common irritants or things that were being irritated in people who walked a lot and people who hiked and were on their feet all the time, athletes and so forth. But why doesn't everybody have the problem? And that's the question that you have to ask. Why doesn't everybody have the problem? The second and third bones in your foot are the ones that are the most frequently irritated. And underneath the longer center bone, there's an area called the center of the metatarsal joint or the metatarsal arch. And that's what drops down. Why does it drop down? Because the muscle underneath it weakens and allows the foot to drop. So these stressed arches, and that's what we'll call them stressed arches, begin to excessively now have to bear the weight of the body on top of them. And everything shifts, and the nerves get irritated and so forth. So you go to the doc, and they want to inject it. They want to put a cortisone in there, or they want to do surgery, or they want to do all kinds of weird things. And you still have to ask the question, why did it happen to begin with? Why is that? So when you understand the mechanisms of the foot isn't isolated by itself. See, we have a problem in traditional approaches to health is that we want to isolate the condition. If you got a sore wrist, we want to find out what's wrong with the wrist. If we got a sore knee, we want to find out what's wrong with the knee. But it may not be the foot or the knee or the elbow or the wrist. It may be something that's further on upstream. So when we look at the low back, we know that the nerves that from the low back go into the legs, they go into the knees, they go into the feet, and so forth. And if those nerves are not firing properly, then the muscles that they go to cannot fire the way they're supposed to and support the foot. Ladies, unfortunately, you wear some really ugly shoes. What do I mean by that? See, you wear these heels, and don't you know that conservative medicine, chiropractors, osteopaths, podiatrists, they have an agreement with the shoemakers? Here's the agreement. As long as they keep making those things, we support the retirement fund because you're going to have bad feet, and you have to come to us. And we have to, play with this. And in the other arena, it's like forever. So there's things that you can do. You have to look at the foot. You have to look at the heels. You have to look at the support mechanism. A lot of you think that pinching your toes into this cramped little, triangle at the front of the shoe is really stylish. It's stylish, but it's hell on your feet. You're going to break things down. You're going to cause pain. You're going to cause inflammation. Take a look at what you're wearing. When was the last time you bought really good shoes? A lot of you get cheap. You go to all the sales to buy these things that have no support. If you can take your shoes and flex them, they're not okay. They have to be support in there if you're going to wear them as you're walking around. One of my docs in the office wears these shoes that look like toes, and I go crazy because I said that's not the place to wear them. He said, yeah, but they're comfortable, and I have to agree with them. They actually are very supportive, but you have to make sure that you're supporting your feet. So I'm going to give you a couple things to do, because this is a problem that we can talk about. You end up with hammer toes, you end up with calluses, and by the way, I'll give you another piece of it. If you find that one foot is worse than the other, or the other foot's not even involved, not only can it be the nerve roots, but it can be something that's coming from the brain stem. Remember, the right side of your brain, the lower right side of your brain, controls the left lower extremity of your body. The opposite side, the left side, controls the right side of the body. So if you have an aberration that's going on there, let's say that you have a bone that's out of place, particularly the first one in your neck, it can cause pain. If you have stress to the right hemisphere or the left hemisphere, what do I mean by that? The right side is your creative side. It's your artistic side. It's your musical side. It's your emotional side. If that side's always being upset, you're going to have problems with the left side of your body. If your left side of your brain is constantly, it's detailed, it's mathematical, it's that type of thing. If that's a problem, your right side of your body is going to be irritated, and you're going to have a greater tendency. I know it sounds strange, but that's really what takes place. And there's one of these days we're going to talk about something called mitochondrial degradation. What's mitochondria? Well, there's these little engines in all the cells of your body that give you the oomph, the energy to function, particularly in the brain. And when these guys break down, they have all kinds of consequences. One of them is what we're talking about right now. So we're talking about foot pain. But let's do the easy part, okay? So what can you do to help yourself? Well, change your shoes, number one. 2, go get yourself a golf ball. Not a tennis ball, not a roller, but a golf ball. Why a golf ball? Because it's hard, and it moves back and forth and round and so forth. And put your foot on the ground, and put your foot on top of that golf ball, and move it. And when you find a sore spot, work at it a little bit. And guess what? It may leave your foot sore for a couple of days, but you know what? If you do it every day, maybe a minute or 2 in the morning, a minute or 2 at night, you can go a long ways into helping your feet. Go get yourself some arnica massage oil or arnica massage cream, or even the gel, and after you've used the golf ball, put that on your bottom of your feet and work it into it, and just do that a couple times a day. That combination. Then I want you to get a roller, and I want you to roll your calves. Those calf muscles, ladies, that you like to show off, and that's one of the reasons that you wear the heels. Get a roller and begin to massage those out. And if you find a sore spot, work it even more. And do it like you're ironing something out, or you're rolling something on the counter. And work that out and stretch the fascia out and so forth. Sometimes it's a B12 problem, because fascia relates to B12. You see where I'm going with this? It's not just a simple foot problem. It's not something that you can say, oh, this is it. No, that's not just this is it. You have to look at your lifestyle and what it is that you've been doing and make a difference. So we can get some relief just by doing those things. Sometimes it's a matter of wrapping something around the upper portion of the lower leg to hold the bone, the long bone, the fibula, and the tibia together, because all that holds that silly thing is a piece of ligament. Yep, that's all it might take, because that's going to the outside. Your shoes are breaking down. Take a look at your shoes. If they're wearing on one side, you're probably throwing that fibula head out. Involved conversation, isn't it? Well, we're here to help you, and if you need more information, you go to rosellecare.com and let me know, but we'll talk about that. George, thank you for holding. How can I help you, sir?
Yeah, question. Doctor, you led in talking about fatigue and foot pain. I've got fatigue, I think it may be associated with a condition called edema that I was diagnosed. My foot pain actually develops when I wear, the treatment is told is to wear compression socks during the day, elevate my feet at night, but a lot of times because of the tightness of the compression socks during the day, my feet then hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, think about what's happening. You have edema simply means swelling.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that you have swelling in the feet is because you don't have enough return pressure to bring it back up into your upper body. So, that's another thing we can talk about. If you have one side, if at both sides, if you take your finger and you push into that swelling in your lower ankle and your leg and so forth, and it sticks, it's called pitting edema.
Doctor, the major swelling actually is below the knee to the ankle.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so take your finger, push it, and if it's pitting edema, then it has to do with cardiovascular integrity. It's about your heart. And if they're going to treat it, it's not just good enough to put the compression socks on because they're trying to treat you for peripheral vascular disease, PVD. And it's not enough just to do that. You have to treat what's going on. And I'm going to broad brush it because we don't have a lot of time.
Sure.
If you're overweight, you got to lose weight. If you have a heart problem and you're taking statins and blood pressure medication, you're going to make it worse because it's going to slow down the integrity of the heart. You're going to burn up coenzyme Q10 and your B complex. In your particular situation, without even seeing you, what you can get away with without hurting yourself is coenzyme Q10, CoQ10, 100 milligrams 3 times a day, a natural source of B complex. Go to the health food store, take that 2 to 3 times a day, vitamin C 2 to 3 times a day, and get the succinate form of vitamin E. D-alpha tocopherol succinate, which is specific for heart and cardiovascular vessels. Those are the things that will help. The compression socks are keeping you slightly out of trouble, but they're really not doing it. They're going to make your feet sore. They're going to cause you some other problems. We can get into it. We'll be right back after these messages. This is Dr. Tom Roselle, author of Ageless Health. Health is a do-it-yourself program. My book, now also available in audio version, is a step-by-step program of how to take control of your health and wellness without drugs or needless surgery. You have the capacity to change your health and level of well-being. Take control of your health today and order Health is a Do-It-Yourself program.
For more information and to order, please visit agelesshealthbook.com. That's agelesshealthbook.com.
This is Dr. Tom Roselle. After 38 years of practice and almost 1 million patient visits, the Roselle Center for Healing knows what works and knows how you can take control of your health and wellness. My team of doctors practice 21st century integrative medicine. Whether you suffer from chronic pain and fatigue, allergies, or headaches, we can help. Take charge of your health before it's too late. Make an appointment today. Call 703-698-7117 or visit online at rosellcare.com. Welcome back. This is Dr. Roselle. You're talking to the guy who makes you think. It makes you doubt everybody. And by the way, question me too. I'm not the guy that has all the answers. We laugh in the office when we talk about the Wizard of Oz and, look behind the curtain. Take a look, see who the guy really is. I'm just giving you data. I want to make you think. As I've said repetitively, don't believe anybody. My job is to provoke you, to make you say, what? And make you go and do your own homework and find out if what I'm telling you is true. If I can make you think and you're willing to take control of your life, then guess what? You've done everything that I've wanted you to do. I wrote a book. It's called Ageless Health. Health is a do-it-yourself program. What a beautiful Christmas gift, right? Go online. You can get it from our office. You go to rosellcare.com. You can order it from us. You can go to Amazon. You can order it from Amazon. You can get a lot of different places. But order it for somebody. Give it to yourself. It's a beautiful gift, and it'll help you begin to turn the tide and turn things around. And we're always around. You go to rosellcare.com and let us know how we can help you. But right now, we're going to go to Jason because, Jason, you've been sitting there and being extremely patient. How can I help you, sir?
Yeah, I'm calling because I've been listening to your show for, a half hour or so. Most of the stuff has been pretty good.
Thank you.
But I'm a pre-med student as well as a business owner of a health and fitness studio.
Okay.
So my question comes to, I guess, yourself as a doctor as well as other doctors, and they kind of use exercise and health and fitness as a supplemental approach as opposed to the primary.
Jason, I got 1 minute, so hurry up.
As opposed to the primary approach. The question sparks from the woman that called earlier with her husband with the congestive heart failure. Why isn't exercise looked at as the primary approach when it should be?
I beg to differ with you. It's part of the puzzle. There's never just one piece. You have to evaluate everything. Exercise is key. I exercise all the time in my life. I do martial arts. I do core training. I do a lot of different things. We always have our patients as part of their program of care exercise. But with exercise, you have to look at the fuel that goes in the body. With exercise, you've got to make sure that the neurological system is working the way it's supposed to. With exercise, you have to make sure that the patient is not exceeding their aerobic capacity and their body's ability to increase immunological function and not suppress it. So it's an educational process. But if you heard the beginning of the program, my mantra, and if you listened to us before, it's structural, chemical, and emotional. Structural is exercise. Chemical is dietary patterns. Emotional is how do you run your brain and how do you focus on all those things. They all have to be in tandem and in balance with each other. Exercise is critical. It's key. There's nobody on the planet that shouldn't be exercising. It's a must-have. Jason, I wish I could get into it a little bit more intimately with you, and I'll pick it up on another program, but unfortunately we're coming to the end of the show. It's critical. Everybody that is listening to me should be exercising. I totally agree with you. We're here every Sunday bringing you the most and the best. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. This is Dr. Tom Roselle. Bye.
Are you dental phobic? Do you neglect your dental health because of fear and anxiety? A beautiful smile begins with exceptional dental care, and you can trust in the expertise of Soft Touch Dental Care and Dr. Michael Chung. Soft Touch Dental Care is unlike any dentist office you'll ever experience. Their warm and welcoming environment is designed to soothe fears and anxiety the moment you arrive, and they're especially pleased to pamper their honored guest patients. Dr. Michael Chung is a professional and leading expert in all areas of comprehensive dentistry, including cosmetic, sedation, neuromuscular, TMJ, and implant dentistry. Offering state-of-the-art technology, Dr. Chung can give you the smile of your dreams. Arrange for a complimentary consultation today with Dr. Michael Chung and experience the expertise that makes Dr. Michael Chung so unique. Call 703-319-6990. That's 703-319-6990. Or visit bestinsmile.com. That's bestinsmile.com.